Duke and Duchess of Sussex continue their Johannesburg tour. This morning they visited a youth employment services hub, and later this afternoon they're expected to meet with President Ramaphosa and the former First Lady Graca Machel. Let's pick that story up with ENCA's Masego Ratlaga. Masego, good afternoon to you. So you spoke to one of the leaders at the hub itself. What was the interaction like?
Good afternoon, Jeremy. Before I get into that, I just want to show off at the fact that I'm only a few kilometers away from you, and I get to see the royals again, and you don't, just for today. But earlier, Jeremy, we were at that youth pub, where actually a lot of young people are being taught there about employment, what it is that they can do to improve themselves, to improve their skills, to write CVs, for instance. And yes, you're right. I did speak to one of the leaders. She's the CEO, and she was telling us actually that that's not the only hub that they have in the country. They actually have a lot around the country nationally helping these young people in terms of employment. As you know, South Africa has 29% unemployment rate, and 60% of that is actually the youth. So here's the doctor explaining to us what it is, that the royals asked her particularly about her hub.
Empathy they showed in trying to really understand what young people go through. They were interested in the stories of young people and how they had gotten to this point. Also very technically involved in understanding the technologies that run the businesses, which is lovely because, full holistic engagement with our youth at the hub.
All right, Masego, what exactly then does this hub do?
Well, Jeremy, they work with both the public sector, the private sector, to basically help improve the unemployment rate that we have in South Africa. And what was exciting that the young people there and us, of course, found out from Prince Harry himself while he was there is that the UK is actually going to contribute £8 million to the South African government to be able to help with development in the country. So what she told me earlier, Jeremy, is that what they do there is actually help the young people get jobs. They've helped over 30,000 young people in the last 9 months, I think she said, to actually get employment. So it's really important, especially because when you look at unemployment rate in South Africa and you find out that in the townships across the country, 6 out of every 10 people are unemployed, and most of those people are the youth. But here's what she said about what it is exactly that they do at YES.
We have places like this where we're trying to bring skills and technology to build small businesses that will employ more youth right here in the community, so young mothers can stay close to their kids, so you don't have to spend half of your salary on transport to get to jobs. But we also work with companies in creating new jobs inside of those companies. So to date, in the last 9 months, we have close to 22,000 jobs created in an economy growing like South Africa is, which would make us one of the highest impact business-driven employment programs in the country. And we're doing this by showing innovation in how we create new pathways for youth into jobs. And that means coming to places where youth employment rates are high, going into townships where 6 out of 10 people are unemployed, and creating the infrastructure.
And Masego, 2 big high-profile visits on the cards this afternoon for the royal couple.
That's correct, Jeremy. I mean, at the moment, we are outside a venue where they'll be meeting with former First Lady Graca Machel. And behind us is where the venue actually is. But we are not allowed too close to there because, of course, it's the royal family and we have to respect the rules. But they are here after seeing, Prince Harry has seen the former First Lady around 2015 when he was here in South Africa. Of course, at that time, he didn't have a wife and son yet. And I assume that today, actually, I have a feeling that today, this first engagement is about Machel actually getting to meet little Archie perhaps, and to get to know Meghan Markle a little better. It's a social one firstly, but a bit later at the same venue actually they'll be speaking to a lot of business leaders, people who started businesses in South Africa, particularly the young ones. As you know, Jeremy, next year the UK is hosting the Africa Investment Summit, and over there there'll be a lot of discussions about how they can help the continent. A country like the UK can help the continent in terms of our growth. You know, we haven't particularly been doing very well, so we're expecting a lot of people to come up with ideas, probably a lot of collaborations, and for the royal couple obviously to hear what it is that the South African young people are doing in terms of innovation and business ideas in the country.
All right, we'll check in with you when the royal couple
Then
arrives.
later, Jeremy, I forgot about that.
Yes.
They'll definitely...
Go ahead.
Yes, they'll be meeting with the president. You know, I forgot a very important visit is with the president. That is the last visit that they'll have. As you know, yesterday, the Duchess was actually alone at UJ speaking to those students where she gave bursaries. And today, the prince actually meets with her after his tour to Malawi. So it's very important that the both of them get to see our president, Cyril Ramaphosa, at the Union buildings. It'll be interesting what we find out about that visit later on. Obviously, with the president, it's going to be a huge part of this royal visit, because that's when we'll find out exactly what the plans are for the country.
All right, we'll check in with you a little later as both of those visits proceed. Graca Machel and also President Ramaphosa at the Union buildings.